Happy Monday, everyone. This is Martha with Nature Niche. And this week, I'm going to share another eruptive migrating bird species with you, the common redpoll. This energetic little finch travels in busy flocks, and it can be seen in the winter visiting us from the far north. They travel from their breeding grounds in the Arctic tundra and boreal forests, and they breed around the world in the lands that ring the Arctic Ocean. They survive temperatures as cold as -65 degrees Fahrenheit, and they can put on about 30% more plumage by weight for the winter. And when they're really cold, sometimes they even tunnel into the snow about 4 inches deep to help stay warm and insulated overnight. Banding records show us that they travel far and wide. One bird was noted in Michigan, and then to travel all the way and recorded again in Siberia. One in Alaska, all the way to the eastern United States. And in another case was found in Belgium and a couple years later in China. So they really are world travelers. They breed in open woods with pine, spruce, alder, birch, and willow. And they can be up to about 5,000 feet in elevation in mountainous regions. And they can also be out on the treeless tundra wherever a shrub or a conifer may occasionally grow. During the breeding season, they eat spiders and insects and seeds of different plants like birches, willows, alder, spruces, and pines, as well as grasses, sedges, and different kinds of wildflowers, and occasionally berries. In the winter, they live around towns, and you can see them visiting bird feeders where they forage for small seeds in open woodlands, in old fields, and in yards. The ones that are visiting me this winter really like the Niger seed I had out, or the Niger mixed with chopped sunflower seed, as well as sunflower hearts I had out. And they'll even follow the evening grosbeaks that I talked to you about last week. They'll follow them around and eat sort of the leftover messy crumbs from those bigger birds. They are very smart, intelligent birds. They're known to shake the seeds out of birch catkins and then feed on the ground beneath the tree. And they can eat up to 42% of their body mass every day. They have special throat pouches where they can temporarily store seeds and fly away to a warmer spot to eat them, and that pouch can hold about 25% of their daily dietary needs. So that's a neat adaptation. And as I said before, they forage in flocks, and they'll flutter and glean and hang upside down. They're good little acrobats from the tips of twigs and branches upside down on your feeders. Sometimes they'll quarrel with their flock mates. When you'll see that behavior, they sort of fluff up their plumage. They'll face off, open their bill, and jut out their chin to display their black face patch. As far as identification goes, they have a typical finch flight that's very undulating. They move up and down as they're flying. And they're a small songbird with short notched tails. They are noisy little birds and have some distinctive calls. They make a buzzy zap call and a rising dree call, and they often just make a lot of chatter at the feeders and then will fly away in a chattering mass. I'll let you listen for a second. There's some of that squabbling I mentioned. And overall, they are brown and white with heavily streaked sides and a small red forehead patch. They have black feathers around a pale yellow conical beak. The males, like the one here, have a pale red wash on the chest and upper flanks. And both males and females have 2 white wing bars. As far as conservation goes, the global breeding population is estimated to be somewhere around 160 million. They breed in the far north away from humans, and our disturbance. So that may have something to do with it. When they eruptively migrate south, like they did in late 2020, they can succumb to salmonella infections at feeders. I will probably be posting on that topic in the near future. Other threats include climate change. We're really unsure of all the impacts that will have on their boreal and boreal forest and tundra habitats, breeding habitats. Common redpolls are one of the 8 eastern eruptive finch species that I mentioned last week. And it's another main character in the eastern superflight of finches that we observed in fall and winter of 2020. In fact, I think 2020 marked the largest movement of this particular species in about a decade. And we'll definitely be seeing this species migrating back through this spring. In case you don't get to see them, wanted to share some videos from my own feeders. And if you do, if you have them on your properties, be cognizant of how they feed in flocks and the risk of the salmonella infections that I mentioned. It's more common in finch species. So you can do things like put up an additional finch feeder. Do make sure that your feeders and bird baths are regularly disinfected, and just try to, I put up an extra finch feeder, and between that and my original one and my window feeder and feeding on the ground, just tried to spread them out, keep the busy flock happy, and enjoy them while they're here. And as we watch these beautiful little birds, I encourage you to think about what you can do in your landscape, your broader landscape, beyond bird feeders, to support this special winter visitor. Think about places that you might be able to plant birches and tag alder, maybe some native grasses, sedges, or colorful wildflowers, something that'll produce small seeds that this cute little finch species can utilize when they come visit us during the winter months. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to help you pick out some native plant species for your yards. We are planning 3 native plant sales at the store this year, and yeah, enjoy your birds and think about how to improve your landscapes. Take care and have a good week.